Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Superpower Review, the show that brings you news and reviews on comic book related things. I'm your host, Ken Rudini, and we got an exciting show for you today. Today's guest is Steve Cline, my chapter president, or the vice president of the Comic Book Fiend Club, and he's our guest today. So, Steve, what are we talking about today?
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me back. But
no problem.
For today, we're breaking down and reviewing the Prime One Studios Flashpoint Batman Statue based off the Arkham Knight skin.
Ooh.
So this thing is a monster.
I bet it. Look at that thing. Look at that.
Yeah, this thing is pretty gnarly. I've had it for a little while now. It's 33 inches tall,
wow,
28 inches wide, and 16 inches deep. So this thing is massive.
That it looks massive.
It went up for pre-order, I want to say a little over 2 years now.
Yeah.
2 years ago, and I just got it in July of this year.
Wow, that's a long wait, huh? For a pre-order? Is that normal?
It's normal now for Prime One Studios. This is normally the wait time that you're putting in to get one of their statues. For Sideshow, XM, stuff like that, you're looking at about probably about 9 months, 9 to 12 months tops. But for Prime One, you're 2 years at this point. So the statue itself, like I said, is based off Flashpoint Batman, off the series of Flashpoint. But this one is actually a little bit different than the storyline. They took some variations. The Rocksteady, who did the Arkham Knight video game, they did a little variations to the suit and kind of put their own designs into it. So it's not quite the Flashpoint Batman that you may know.
Yeah. Those shoulder pads are cool.
Yeah, we're looking at a shoulder pad there. That's a little bit different than the regular design. This piece has multiple switch-out parts, including an extra portrait, an extra head. Here, I'll show you a little bit of that. And he's also got a giant sword that he can put on as well. You can take off the gun arms, and you can have him displaying a sword that's facing all the way down. But unfortunately, when I got this statue in, the hilt of the sword was broken.
Oh,
so
no.
If I would try to put, let's see where it's at. You can see a little crack, and if I try to put the sword in there, that's just going to crack all the way and break.
So now Prime One would not send you a new one?
No, they are. I went through Sideshow. It just takes so long for them to be able to do it. They've already approved it. They said they're going to send me another one. It's just, I'm probably going to be waiting a long time for that to come in.
Oh, wow.
And there's the extra portrait that comes with it. He's not grimacing or anything like that, but you can see all kinds of crazy detail. 5 o'clock shadow that Flashpoint Batman's known for. It's all there. The red eyes. I mean, this stuff from Prime One is really, I know you have to wait a long time for it, but it's worth it as far as the details go. But we'll start from the bottom and go up.
Sure.
The base is an extended long base. That's why it's running so wide. They have 3 different Tauruses, bull heads, standing on the base. Unfortunately, the video can't do it justice, but these things are so massive.
It looks huge.
And then you can swing it around. Make sure he's not hitting the back wall there. And you see the regular bat emblem that's on the back of the base. That's typical for the whole Arkham Knight line.
Yeah.
You'll usually see the bat emblem on the back of the base.
Very nice. Now, his cape looks like it's actually like a leather material.
It is. It's a leather material. It's a massive cape. It has very strong wires in it. You can work to kind of pose it out, do what you want with it. Right now, I have it kind of tucked in a little bit, and that's not exactly the way I would like to do it, but the way that I have him displayed in my comic room, I can't really, flex the cape out all the way that I want. So I have to kind of fold him in so it's not touching another statue. But yeah, you can run it all the way out. I mean, it's a massive, massive cape.
Looks big.
We'll fold him back a little bit so we can show some more detail here. But yeah, you have him standing on top of one of the bull heads, and if I could get if I had the sword in, the sword would tip off right about here, running all the way up.
Okay.
So you can see all the detail in the boots, the laces, you're coming up. You can see all the folds into the pants.
I know, and you can see like stitching on the boots too, like.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow, those remind me of my Doc Martens back in my punk rock days.
Yeah, I kind of see that, man. And honestly, if I had this off of the base and we had it flipped up, you could see all the treads in the boot, in the bottom of the boot.
Wow.
Like there was no point to do that, but yet that's the extra detail that they go for.
Right.
So you see he's got the big knee pads on, the straps on it. You can see all the stitching, the buckle. It gets crazy. You can see over here, he's got a rip in his pants. They put that detail in.
Wow.
He's got 2 holsters. Right now they don't have any guns in them, but there's also a switch out where you can get 2 holsters in there with 2 guns in there in case you switch out the arms and you have the sword on display.
Right, makes sense. So if you have the guns in hand, then obviously your holsters are going to be empty.
Yeah, you come up, you have pouches on his belt. All the detail there. You can see like where the strap is sitting there pushing in on the belt and it's compressing a little bit.
Wow. Absolutely amazing. Now, do you know who sculpted this statue? I hate to put you on the spot, I guess, but...
Honestly, I do not know their artists too well. They do, I mean, I'm pretty sure they do 100% of their work in-house. Whereas sometimes Sideshow or XM Studios will contract out, maybe buy a design from someone or just have an independent contractor kind of give them a design. Problem One Studios does everything themselves, all in-house.
Yeah.
From the painting of the statue to the design, everything.
So this statue comes with an extra set of gun pouches, an extra set of arms, a different profile look, and the sword. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Wow.
So you can switch it out if you're feeling like a different design that day. You can switch it out and basically have a whole nother statue almost.
So this comes with a lot of stuff.
That's also something Prime One's known for. Usually statues, Sideshow in particular, they'll have like an exclusive part for their statues.
Yeah.
But they normally don't have a lot of switch outs in general. But Prime One, they'll do a ton of different options for you, give you a lot of choices to make.
Now, how much does a statue like this go for, Steve?
This one was $969.99.
Someday.
It's crazy expensive, yeah. And see, this head right here is actually the exclusive for the statue.
I like that head better. I mean, they both look great, but I like that one. That one shows emotion.
Yeah, that's the one I choose to display it with. I never switch it out. I agree with you. I like the emotion that it shows. It fits his character. You know, he's generally a pretty angry individual out for vengeance.
Now, what are some of the, absolute, like, what are some of the loves you have for the statue? Like, what's the positives about the statue?
I know it may sound kind of elementary, but the red on it.
Yeah.
A lot of the Prime One statues are known for having, and I think it's because, well, at least the ones that I collect, I should backtrack a little bit, the Arkham line, Prime One Studios, they're known for having kind of darker, duller colors, nothing that really kind of pops out, nothing that really grabs your attention except for maybe the Deathstroke statue, which has a lot of bright orange and blue in it. But for this statue itself, you can notice the red right off the bat, specifically on his chest emblem. I mean, that's something that catches your attention almost immediately when looking at it.
Yep.
The red in his eyes, I think that kind of stuff just automatically pops as soon as you look at the statue. So that's something that I really like. And I also like the fact that he's sitting there carrying guns. I think that's just an awesome display to show Batman sitting there dual wielding a couple guns, looking all pissed off.
Right. Now, if any of the viewers have not seen, we've had Steve Cline on the show multiple times, and if you haven't seen the episode of where we take a tour of his Batcave room, it's highly suggested. I'll put that link in the description below so you can watch that. It's absolutely amazing. And he mentions one of his favorite statues, which is a Deathstroke statue. So, Steve, my question to you is, does this statue beat the Deathstroke statue, or is Deathstroke still your top statue?
Oh, tough question. I'm going to say no, this one doesn't beat the Deathstroke, but it is definitely right up there. This one probably ranks in the top 3 for me right now, but it still doesn't beat the Deathstroke. Maybe. I got 2 in mind that may beat Deathstroke, but we'll have to see once we get them in hand.
So how about any negatives? Do you have any negatives about this statue?
Off the top of my head, the only negative I would have, and I knew going into it, it's just the size of the base.
Is it too big?
Some of the other Arkham pieces that I have, they have a more condensed base. They're easier to display, but this thing, it just takes up so much room. These bull heads that stick out so much, it's just it's a little bit difficult to get properly displayed, I guess, at least in my room, the way I have it set up. But I mean, it's something that I knew going into it. I knew that it was going to be this big, so I can't complain too much.
It's a masterpiece. It really is. I mean, I can't believe the detail in these things. I mean, you're really getting what you pay for with this. And I believe, aren't these all hand painted?
Yeah, these are all individually hand painted. So every single one of them. And I want to say that the ES on this one is 300. That's for the exclusive. I don't know the regular, but for the exclusive, it's 300 edition size.
Wow. So they only made 300 of these.
For the exclusive, the one with the extra head, yeah. Okay. I don't know about the regular one, but there's 300 of these out there.
Wow. Could you maybe turn them around so we can see the more of the cape in the back, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. Look at that. So even look at the detail in his cape. The different stitching and wow.
Yeah, you can see the different seams running up and down it. I mean, they could have just done a regular full black leather cape, but go in the little extra detail to put a little design in it.
Right.
Now it really.
Now, when because you collect a lot of statues, do you prefer, a leather cloth cape, or do you prefer the cape to be sculpted as well?
That's a great question. Personally, I prefer to have a sculpted cape because I'm not that great at kind of posing my capes. I wish I was a little bit better. I've seen some just awesome stuff online. I try to duplicate it. I don't quite get there. And with the sculpted cape, you never have to worry about that.
Right.
The down thing with the sculpted cape is sometimes, like in Batman's instance, I know there's one Batman statue out there where his cape kind of runs long ways to the side. And I've seen that statue break a little bit because that gets too heavy and ends up breaking off. I've seen a Superman sideshow statue that starts to lean all the way back, almost breaking off at the legs because the cape is too heavy.
Right. I mean, personally, I've never had anything like this at all. And I think I would prefer a cape like this because, number one, it looks more realistic in my eyes. And 2, it covers Batman's whole body, so it's less of an opportunity for something to break, in my opinion. So I think that's one of the plus sides of maybe having a cape like that.
Yeah, and you're right. That is definitely a plus side because if you're going to move it or you got it on display, that's something you don't. I'm not saying you don't have to pay attention to it, but you can be a little less delicate when moving it or placing things around it because you're right, it's not going to break like a sculpted cape would if you barely touch it.
Right. Now, is his head is what is keeping the cape in or keeping the cape on?
So his head would detach, and this piece sitting around his head is attached to, it actually comes off, and then you're going to see a couple slots to place the cape at underneath there. So that is technically what's holding on the cape.
I see it, yep. So, Steve, you know, on Superpower Review, it's always a tradition to rate everything with a CGC grade. What would you give this Batman statue?
This Batman statue right now comes in for a solid 9.8. It met all of my expectations. It's in my top 3 of statues. I have quite a bit, and to get into the top 3 automatically, definitely this one is a CGC 9.8.
It really looks it. I mean, it looks amazing. I mean, I wish they maybe had like a smaller version of it for people like peons like me. Get a smaller version and cheaper version of it.
Never know, man. Maybe one day. Hey, they're running the sale during Spooktacular, so you know.
This is true. They're giving out promo codes, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah, and I actually believe this statue right now is running free shipping, and I want to say $100 off this weekend.
So there you go, peeps. You can get your Flashpoint Batman right now. It's just $100 cheaper, you know. So you're still looking at what, $800?
$869. Pocket change.
Pocket change. Just work a little bit overtime. You're good. Well, so Steve, anything else you would like to say about this statue?
Definitely highly recommend it. Specifically, if you're a giant Flashpoint Batman fan. I mean, you're not going to see a lot of statues available for Flashpoint Batman. So if that's your character, if that's someone that you really like, this is something that you got to have in your collection. 100%. You got to find a way to make this happen.
Well, Steve, I want to thank you for being on today's show and showing off another wonderful piece of your Batman collection.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about it.
No problem. But wait, people, there's more. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to see more, because Steve Cline will be coming back on to do another show with us. He's going to be reviewing his Scarecrow Prime 1 statue, right, Steve?
Yep, we've got that one up next.
Oh, we got that one up next. So don't go away. Make sure you subscribe to get notifications on when we're posting a new video. If you like this video, or if you thought this review was helpful, please like it. And I'll put a link of it in the description about Steve Cline. You can follow him on Instagram at @theBataholic. He posts awesome things about Batman all the time, so he's got an awesome collection. So that's going to do it for today's episode. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you really soon. See ya!